took off.
Hello, and welcome back. The arrest we're looking at today isn't your average DUI offender. The grand majority of DUI charges come as a result of drunk driving, but this suspect isn't drunk. He's extremely high, off of what, we're not yet sure. But whatever it is convinced him to weave in and out of traffic with his small baby in the car, then hop out of his car in the middle of a highway and attempt to force open several other cars with people in them before fleeing police on foot. This is a story you simply must see to believe. May 15th, 2023, 12:15 p.m. California Highway Patrol are made aware of a gold-colored Lexus SUV that was not only swerving westbound down I-80, but was intentionally driving directly towards other cars and pedestrians just to jerk out of the way at the last second. He was missing people by mere inches, and a few drivers had to move out of the way to avoid being hit. Officers are on their way to the scene when they receive another heart-stopping report that the SUV had now swerved over onto the eastbound lanes of I-80, still traveling westbound, meaning the suspect was currently speeding on the wrong side of the highway. Officers light up and step on the gas, knowing it's only a matter of time before the vehicle causes a possibly fatal collision. Just minutes later, the dreaded news came through the radio. The gold SUV had slammed head-on into a freight truck.
21 up 97, number 1 lane block.
2197, the number 1 lane is blocked on the eastbound side of I-80 in town.
The driver took off.
Officer Hassel is the first to the scene. The man approaching the patrol car is the driver of the freight truck. Also on the scene with him, standing to the left of the truck, are the passengers of the gold SUV, a woman cradling a small baby in her arms. The mother is bleeding from trauma to the head. Though extremely shaken by the ordeal, her baby escapes without any observable injuries. The driver of the SUV, however, is absent from the scene. The fact that the accident resulted in a serious injury automatically transforms several otherwise misdemeanor crimes into felonies. The possible charges of reckless driving, driving on the wrong side of the highway, and driving under the influence are all considered felonies when anyone besides the driver is injured or killed, according to vehicle codes 23103, 21651, and 23153. And let's not forget the possible charge of child endangerment, which Penal Code 723A says is bumped up to a felony when the child is put at risk of death or great bodily injury. These are just some of the felony charges that could be applied here.
I'll start a break. You can contrast me up with levity where 23, I copy here from Soda. We'll start contrast.
The driver, foot bail, he's running in the eastbound lanes west, somewhere towards Boreal.
Copy, driver took foot bail, he's running eastbound towards Boreal westbound in the eastbound lane towards Boreal.
23, I copy.
21 Adam, I'll need at least one 1185 for a silver Lexus SUV.
Now, the suspect is guilty of a hit and run. Felonious hit and run, of course, since the incident resulted in injury to a person other than the driver, according to Vehicle Code 20001. Going hand in hand with the possible hit and run charge is the crime of evading an officer. In the state of California, evading an officer is usually bumped up to a felony only in the case of reckless evading, which requires the suspect to be operating a motor vehicle. Since the suspect is fleeing on foot, this technically constitutes only misdemeanor evading. Right now, the mere fact that the suspect has fled presents a new issue. Officer Hassel, the only officer on scene and the officer with the best chance at immediately catching the suspect, can't possibly apprehend him right now with a mother and small child to tend to. So he relays the message to other officers, one of which is Officer Pebbles. Fortunately, he's in the perfect spot when the report comes in.
23 Adam, 97 in the area.
21 Adam, people are passing by advising he's trying to take other vehicles somewhere between the rest area and Boreal.
I copy that. Affirm. We just had someone report that party is trying to possibly carjack people. He is between the rest area and Boreal.
The street Officer Pebbles is approaching now is exactly where the offender is suspected to be. The suspect is reportedly going up to cars and staring at terrified drivers with what's described as a crazy glazed look in his eyes, before sprinting over and yanking wildly at the door handle. Officer Pebbles creeps forward, then comes to an abrupt stop. He sees a pair of feet standing in the middle of the road from underneath the big rig to his left. When the truck pulls forward, a man with no shoes on is standing perfectly still in between the two lanes, staring daggers at the officer. But this doesn't seem to intimidate Officer Pebbles one bit.
Hey man, I'm on foot walking back through the traffic.
Good 70S1, just have 388, please head that way to help.
Get the out of the road!
70S1, 10-4.
Get the on the side of the road now! Get the on the side of the road now!
Officer Pebbles exits his vehicle to apprehend the erratic and shoeless suspect. He makes a grab for the suspect's arm, but the crazed man snatches away and makes a run for it, retreating between two freight trucks in the middle of the road. Moments later, the suspect stops running and begins leisurely strolling down the highway, facing forward, as if he'd completely forgotten that he was being chased. Officer Pebbles takes the opportunity to sprint up to him and take him to the ground. He wrestles with the suspect for a few seconds, but two truck drivers quickly leap out of their vehicles and hold the suspect down so the officer can cuff him. More officers arrive soon after, and Trayshawn tries to fend them off by spitting and biting at them. Leg restraints and a spit hood are placed on him so he can be searched. Police quickly find what they're looking for in his front pocket, a small plastic baggie filled with a white powder. The substance is suspected of being methamphetamine. Trayshawn is then strapped to a gurney and carted off to the hospital, then straight to Nevada County Jail. The terrifying and nearly deadly incident is over in just about 20 minutes. According to the police report, Trayshawn faces recommended charges of felony driving under the influence of drugs, a felony driving on the wrong side of the road resulting in injury, misdemeanor reckless driving resulting in injury, felony child endangerment, misdemeanor possession of a narcotic, felony hit and run, and misdemeanor resisting arrest, on top of charges for two already existent warrants.